I live up there. I live up there. I live up the street. I live right there. I live up there. I live up there.
This area is rich with history about the growth and development of the African American Muslim community. It started down here, and if we really trace the history, we'll find that this area was one of the founding areas where this growth began. Just 2-3 blocks down at 47th and Lancaster Avenue, we have the International Muslim Brotherhood Masjid, which was one of the first Orthodox or Sunni Muslim masjids established here in West Philly.
To my knowledge, it came into focus in 1949 by a brother by the name of Nasser Ahmed. Brother Nasser Ahmed originally was born in North Carolina. He moved from there to the state of Ohio, I think it was Youngstown. And during the time he was there, he was a Baptist preacher. And he converted his whole congregation into Islam. Then he left there and came to Philadelphia. And coming to Philadelphia, he was the founder of this place where we know today as the International Muslim Brotherhood. And later on, Kuba School became a part of the International Muslim Brotherhood. And we would have class on the first floor, then we would go to the third floor and make prayer. The sisters would be in the back and the brothers would be in the front. At that time, we didn't have rugs. We would spread down newspaper, up on the third floor to perform this salat. It was quite a thing. The role that the International Muslim Brotherhood played in the foundation of Islam in Philadelphia, a very tremendous role. People know this place all over the world.
We have across the street from the International Muslim Brotherhood, we have the Claire Muhammad School, which was founded in 1976.
The Muhammad University of Islam was the school that was the Muslim school at the time. Elijah Muhammad, recognizing that our children had to be taught by their own, established Muhammad University of Islam. I became a Muslim in 1971. At that time, I was teaching at Temple University, which was about a block or so away from Muhammad University of Islam. I started teaching there that summer, and by the time the fall rolled around, when it was time for me to go back to Temple to teach, I was asked to become the Directress of Education. When I started, and by the time we moved to the Lancaster Avenue site, we had just continued to grow in numbers. As our enrollment continued to grow and expand, we acquired properties at the corner of Broad and Susquehanna. And one of the properties was over a liquor store. So that was not the kind of conducive environment that we felt that comfortable having our children go back and forth, going in and out of the school. So I wrote a letter to Warfdi Muhammad, basically asked him for assistance in terms of if he could give us any assistance to acquire another facility. So to have gotten the opportunity to move to Lancaster Avenue site was very significant because it is a larger facility and enabled us to really grow and expand.
I recall very vividly as a young man, a child, 5 years old, 6 years old, going to Muhammad's temple, number 12.
The reason we left Bailey Street was we getting a little larger. The place was small. And we left Bailey Street to come for a larger place. That's why we moved over here, 4218 Lancaster Avenue. And then people found out Malcolm name he was invited on radio programs. And people start coming out just to see who he was. And this is how the crowd started getting larger and larger.
I think one of the #1 reasons for the decline that we seen happening on Lancaster Avenue was the drugs. Also, various factors like that, the dynamics of employment and even the demographic changes in the neighborhood created a lot of the problems. But God willing, we're working to bring about a new change in this area so that we can bring back those old values that we all had honored, where we looked out for one another. The center, first of all, do house the Muslim American Museum and Archive. That archive and museum also represents a significant part of African American history. We have a gallery that we call African Muslims Enslaved in America. That gallery highlights scholars that was brought from the shores of Africa, brought here to America, and enslaved in the early 16th and 17th century. We have a gallery we call our New Africa Muslim American Hall of Fame, and that gallery highlights great giants like the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and Imam W.D. Muhammad and Minister Louis Farrakhan and Marcus Garvey. All these great men, Noble Drew Ali, they inspired the African American community to have an interest in Islam. And they took Islam to the forefront and made it a name that is respected, a faith that is respected, and a belief system that is honored in the African American community. I've been asked by others, oh, why don't we take our center down to Center City? But I felt as though it's only proper that this center that represents the African American Muslim experience be where that experience took place. And that experience took place, that history took place right here on Lancaster Avenue.
As an educator, what I see in terms of the importance of the New Africa Center is every people have to preserve their history. And the New Africa Center has become that particular site for us. When you look around in the New Africa Center, those of us who lived some of that history, we see it there. For the future generations who did not live that history, they have the opportunity now to learn from the past. So when you look around the New Africa Center, it is a significant step forward because you must preserve your history. If you don't preserve your history, if you don't tell your history, someone else will tell it for you.
I live up there.